I joined the Tolkien Society in the 1970s. I'd read Lord of the Rings. I got it for my 21st birthday present from my sister. Now, at that time, my sister and I were living at opposite ends of the country. I was in Dumfries, and she was living near Inverness. And in those pre-internet and mobile phone days, we were corresponding by letter. So I'd asked her to order it from a book club. And a letter came which said, "Your book has arrived. It's the best book I've ever read. I'm at page 200. So I did finally get my birthday present, my precious. And I read it, and by sheer coincidence, shortly after I'd finished it, I discovered the Tolkien Society, and I joined. And reading about the events in these early Allen Hens, I decided these people seem to be having a lot of fun. So I made a rule to myself that I wouldn't be one of these members who just sat back, paid the money, and let the society send everything to me. Once a year, I would make the effort, and I would go to a society event. So in 1975, I went to my first AGM, actually not very far from here, in Bloomsbury. And in 1976, I went to my first Oxenwood. And there I encountered a certain Howard Rosenblum. Nothing much happened on that occasion. We sat in the bar and talked and drank beer. And I thought nothing more of it at the time, but things developed from there. So in 1977, I went to the AGM in Chester because I'd never been to Chester before. And I had a brand new sitting camera. And Chester is very photogenic. And then, as the date for that year's Oxenwood approached, I started having a Gollum-Smeagol debate with myself. Want to go to Oxenwood? You can't, you've been to the AGM this year. Still want to go to Oxenwood. Don't be silly, you've had your one event this year, you've been to the AGM. Don't care, still want to go to Oxenwood. But, oh my God, I'm going to Oxenwood. So, I've been thinking since I was asked to do this talk about where my life might have gone if I hadn't joined the TS. And the answer I got was, well, probably not very far. I would probably have stayed in Dumfries, getting involved in local events and organisations, the local cine club, the Amateur Dramatic Society, behind the scenes, not on stage, and the fledgling Dumfries and Galloway Arts Festival, and trips up to Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Festival. I would definitely have gone to the ballet more. Howard hated ballet. And I suppose it's possible that I might even eventually have married some worthy but dull local. Well, you know what? Worthy but dull doesn't feel like my style anymore. So what have I gained from joining the TS? Well, a husband for a start and almost 30 years of happy marriage. Friendships that have lasted for over 40 years. Fellowships with people from all around the world. But there's more than that. There's much more than that. Because joining the TS opened up new worlds that some I never knew existed and some I would never have imagined ever being part of. Science fiction conventions, beer festivals, medieval reenactments. Sorry! Foreign travel. My first trip abroad was the Tolkien Society's trip to Sweden in 1980. Flying in light aircraft. Howard had just got a private pilot's licence when we first started courting. My first ever flight was in a two-seater aircraft with Howard at the controls. I don't know if I would ever have discovered any of these things by myself. I might have done eventually. But one thing I am very sure about. Next year we're going to Middle Earth. To the World Science Fiction Convention in New Zealand. Yay! I can't imagine that I would ever, in a million years, have even considered doing this, if my life had gone down the other trouser leg of time. The Tolkien Society has expanded my world and enriched my life. It's given me excitement, adventure, and really wild things. Yay! Oh, and speaking of really wild things, the best thing of all that it's given me is sitting over there waving at me. So, payback time. I'm going to preempt the committee here. Michelle,
Yeah.
Consider yourself booked as guest speaker for the centenary. First program item already. That's for forward planning.
Ian, can you minute that?
There's only one thing left to say. Here's to the next 50 years.